Hello, 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 you guys, you beautiful people, you. Welcome back to my channel. I thought today would be a nice day to make something nice and comforting and warm. And the next closest thing to me is to an apple pie is an apple turnover. With the weather being here, little snowy and everything outside. So, please stay tuned and watch how I work my little magic. Okay, first of all, let me show you what I'm working with first. We are going to be making our turnovers. Oops, turn that down some. We're going to be making our turnovers with Pillsbury Doughboy Crescent dough. Then we have brown sugar, cinnamon and nutmeg, cornstarch, vanilla, and just a tad bit of salt. That's going to bring out those flavors in my apple pie filling, okay? So let's go and let's get with it. Okay. First of all, we're going to have a little bit of butter. We're going to start off with one pad. And me, with the way I cook, I like being creative. So sometimes, a lot of times, I really don't have a certain measurement that I go by. I just kind of eyeball it and I taste as I go along. That's how I create my recipes to my liking. So we got a little pad of margarine here. We're going to let that melt a little bit. Okay. Alrighty. And also, by the way, I've already peeled and cored my apples. I have 2 Granny Smith apples and 3 red apples. And I also let them soak in lemon juice to keep them from oxidizing and turning brown. Okay, so I've already prepped those. So this is going to be a pretty much short and to the point video. I've also got my oven preheated at 375, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead. Margarine is almost melted. We're going to take some brown sugar. Some brown sugar for my sugar boo. Brown sugar for my sugar, yes. And it's going to have my place smelling so good and warm on this cold wintry day. All right, that's good enough. Then we're going to add a couple of dashes of cinnamon. Get that cinnamon taste going on up in there. A little bit of nutmeg. Boom, 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 boom. And some vanilla. And we're just going to stir that around. Oh, and just a dash, just a little pinch of salt. Okay, that's going to bring out those flavors. Okay, so let's get this going. See how it's turning like that caramely brown, like a kind of like a toffee. Yes. So in a minute. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put, dang it. Just a little bit, like a, half a cup of water, okay? Just half a cup of water. And like I said, you guys, you know, when it comes to me being in the kitchen, and it should go for anybody that really enjoys cooking, you know anything, or you know what I mean. You come up with your own ideas. There's no certain specific way or science that it has to be a certain type of way. That's how we come up with recipes. That's how we come up with deliciousness and things like that. Sometimes through trial and error. But this is what I'm doing right here. So I got the little bit of water. And I'm going to add, what I should have did was made a slurry first, but I didn't do that. But we're going to do it this way, okay? So I'm taking guys, bear with me. I'm taking a tablespoon of cornstarch. Tablespoon of cornstarch. Putting that in my cup, and we're just going to add just a tad bit of water just to make like kind of like a paste with it, okay? And this is a really, really quick way to make a dessert, you know. Now watch how quick this is going to thicken up. You want to just keep stirring. It's going to thicken up really, really fast. Okay. Starting to thicken up. That's when I'm going to add my apples. Turn the heat down because we want these to cook slow. Okay. Turn the heat down. I got it turned down to about medium right there. And what I'm going to do is just taste it. Not quite sweet enough for me. Wash my hands. Always wash my hands, honey. You should always wash your hands, especially while cooking, to prevent any cross-contamination, germs, and stuff like that. Especially with the flu season going on, it's always best to be safe. Safer than sorry, okay? Plus, it's just nasty not to wash your hands, okay? So I'm going to add a little bit more sugar because it wasn't quite sweet enough for my liking. And then you know it's going to be kind of like sweet tart with especially with the Granny Smith apples and the lemon juice and stuff. So we kind of want to balance that sweetness out. We'll turn this back up just a tad bit to get that sauce bubbling back up again. And once it starts boiling and bubbling, we're going to turn that heat back down. All right. Turn it up just a tad bit. It's smelling so good in here though, y'all. It smells so good. It smells like Mom's kitchen used to smell like. All right. Now, I'm going to just have another little dab. That's pretty tasty, but you know what? I think it needs a little bit more cinnamon. I like my apple pies to be cinnamony, not too overpowering, but enough where you can taste it for the flavor. So I add a little more, couple more sprinkles of the ground cinnamon, and I'm going to add a couple of more. And now you got to be careful with the nutmeg because this is a very potent and strong spice. So I'm just going to add a couple of more sprinkles of the ground nutmeg. Okay. And a little bit more of the vanilla extract. See how it's starting to boil again? Bubble up. All right. And what you're going to do is you want it to cook. Those apples are going to start cooking down and releasing its delicious juices into the caramel sauce. And it's going to start thickening up. And that's what we want to, because it's a little runny right now, but it's going to start thickening up, especially with that cornstarch in there. It's going to start thickening up. So I'm going to let it do its thing and hang out. Okay. Yes, honey. And you want to make sure you stay close proximity to this because you don't want it to burn. Because with all that, the brown sugar and all of that stuff, it's going to turn it into like a caramel sauce. And it can burn really, really fast if you're not careful. And then all the little work and prep work and stuff you did went to waste. So babysit it a little bit. Give it some TLC, some tender love and care. Put some love into it, boo. Put some love into it. Yeah. Boy, you guys should smell what it smells like up in here. It smells so delightful and so delicious. Talk about aromatherapy, honey. Yes. Now you're starting to see, you see how it's boiling up? It's starting to go into that boiling thing. Well, I know I'm not using the proper words, but you know what I mean. Yes. So let that bubble a little bit more. Cook down. Boy, this gonna be some good stuff. Yeah, baby, yeah. Can't wait. And I'm really not a big sweet person, but sometimes I get do get a taste for it. And I like to make little desserts, but not complicated desserts. You know, I like my stuff simple. I like to keep it simple, especially when it comes, because I'm not really a big baker per se. Depends on the mood, if the mood strikes me and stuff like that. Most of the time I'll do a semi-homemade, you know, and just put my own little spin on it. Or I'll find different recipes like on YouTube. Like, I love YouTube. I go on YouTube for pretty much anything you want to find out. You can find out on YouTube. YouTube is definitely one of my go-tos. Okay. But cooking is more my thing, because with baking, it's the difference between cooking and baking. Baking is basically like a science, so you have to have precise measurements when it comes, if you want it to come out the way it's supposed to come out. Cooking, on the other hand, you can be way more, I mean, not saying you can't be creative when it comes to baking, but I'm just saying, as far as my thingy thing, I enjoy cooking because I can be way more creative, and I can just add whatever I want that I feel would taste good to me and that my taste buds would enjoy. It's not like a science thing. It's more like a being creative, you know, and having flavors come together, marry, and become one big deliciousness. Okay. Ooh, it smells so good, y'all. So good. By the way, safety tip, I know it was a very bad idea for me to put my finger on that, because, see, caramel sauces like this, like when it comes to melted brown sugar, it can burn you at times. But, yeah. So we're going to just let this, you know, ain't no sense in you guys just waiting around for this to come to the consistency I want. So I'm going to be back. This is the first part. I'll be back once this cooks down, because it's going to cook down for a little bit, okay? And I shall return. Please stay tuned for this deliciousness. Mwah.